Imagine waking up 10 years from now and realizing that the only things separating the life you live from the life you wanted were the choices you kept postponing. That sting in the gut, regret, is the currency you pay when you trade decisive action for momentary comfort. The ancient Stoics knew this all too well. They walked crowded Roman streets under the same clouds of unpredictability we face today. Political chaos, economic swings, personal losses, and yet they forged what one historian called an inner empire. Their secret wasn't mystical calm, it was a ruthless grip on 5 principles that turned uncertainty into fuel. This video is not motivational popcorn, it's a field manual. For each principle, we'll couple a Stoic maxim with modern neurobiology, so you don't just nod, you act. Every idea is designed to hit the brain's decision circuitry, create friction, and then convert that friction into forward momentum. Feel the resistance? Good. That means the transformation switch is within arm's reach. Let's flip it. Principle 1. Primacy of relentless action. Inspiration is tinder, execution is wildfire. Stop dreaming of the good life and start living it now. Marcus Aurelius. Emotion versus motion. Motivation videos spike dopamine, then disappear like steam. Your basal ganglia, the part of the brain that hard codes habits, responds only to repeated behavior. No repetition, no rewiring. A Stoic doesn't ask, "Do I feel like it?" but, "What can I move 1 inch forward before the next breath?" The pain barrier paradox. Neuroscientist Andrew Huberman calls the first 20 minutes of hard effort limbic friction. Push through it once, and the brain releases norepinephrine and dopamine, chemically tagging the action as rewarding. The discomfort that felt like rust becomes the polish of mastery. Stoics named that turning point eupatheia, healthy passion born from disciplined toil. Micro-commitments, macro-momentum. Seneca advised, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Shrink the task to something you can finish in 2 minutes. Write 1 sentence, perform 5 push-ups, read 1 paragraph. Finish it. That completion stamp feeds the reward circuitry and makes tomorrow's start line closer. Identity reforged. Each fulfilled action is a vote cast for a new identity, the person who does. Keep voting until the ballot box overflows and hesitation no longer gets elected. That's not motivational fluff, it's Hebbian theory. Neurons that fire together wire together. Bottom line, you either accumulate actions or alibis. Choose the tally that will outlive you. Principle 2. Explore. Widely, commit deeply. Taste broadly. Devour intentionally. If a man knows not to which port he sails, no wind is favorable. Seneca. The sampling phase. Your teens and 20s are evolutionary sandboxes. Dabble, tinker, collide with unfamiliar crafts. Each new pursuit forms synaptic bridges, enriching lateral thinking, the very skill that turns ordinary careers into asymmetric successes. The depth imperative. Dabbling becomes self-betrayal when it morphs into perpetual escape. The Stoics called it plenesis, the wandering sickness. Once curiosity sparks, set a depth target. 30 consecutive days, 100 deliberate practice sessions, 1 publishable project. Depth is where feedback loops get tight, and tight loops accelerate mastery. Filtering the noise. Musonius. Rufus urged students to beware the big library, read the few books that sharpen character. Translate that to the digital age, mute the gurus, track real-world metrics. Is the skill producing competence, connection, or cash flow? If not, pivot with no remorse. Anti-fragile luck. The harder you work, the luckier you seem. because disciplined depth compounds opportunities. Entrepreneurs call it surface area for serendipity. In Stoic terms, fortune favors the prepared mind. Bottom line, your potential expands with each new experiment, but it crystallizes only where you drill the deepest. Principle 3. Resistance is the compass. The obstacle points to the opening. What stands in the way becomes the way. Marcus Aurelius' neural alarm system's attempt. Something unfamiliar, and the amygdala blares like a smoke detector. Its language is cortisol and adrenaline, urging retreat. But repeated exposure without catastrophe initiates habituation. The alarm quiets, new confidence emerges, and the boundary of the possible widens. Cognitive reframe Stoics performed premeditatio malorum, visualizing worst-case scenarios to steal fear's leverage. Modern psychology calls this stress inoculation. Picture the failure, feel the dread, then watch yourself acting anyway. You've turned resistance from a wall into a signpost. The energy of opposites. In physics, pressure creates diamonds. In biology, progressive overload builds muscle. Likewise, psychological stress paired with recovery strengthens resilience. Schedule deliberate discomfort, ice showers, cold calls, public speaking reps, then follow with deep rest. Adaptation begins on the rebound. Identity upgrade loop. Each conquered resistance furnishes evidence. I survive what I fear. Stack enough evidence and self-concept shifts from I avoid pain to I absorb it and advance. This is Stoic prohairesis, the sovereign will choosing its stance regardless of the storm. Bottom line, when resistance surfaces, thank it. It just highlighted the exact coordinates of your next breakthrough. Principle 4. The razor of control. Cut the noise, carve the core. Man is disturbed not by things, but by the view he takes of them. Epictetus. The dichotomy. Download. Evolution wired us to scan for threats, but modern life hijacks that wiring with algorithmic bait. Your first Stoic move is technical. Install the control filter. 2 questions you ask before any worry spirals. Can I influence this directly within the next 60 seconds? Will ruminating improve the outcome? If the answer is no, label the topic externa and drop it. You just freed mental RAM for action items that actually move the meter. The focus funnel. Once externals are purged, funnel what remains into 3 concentric rings: body, sleep, nutrition, training. Craft, daily practice that compounds skill or income. Character, honesty, responsibility, service. Anything outside these rings is ornamental until the core is fortified. Visualize the funnel each morning. Let it dictate your calendar, your reading list, even your social feed. Implementation. Immunity role play. Worst case interference. Power outage. Lost Wi-Fi. Canceled meeting. Design analog backups. A notebook workflow. Offline training drills. Pre-cooked meals. The Stoics called this preparedness of mind. Productivity gurus call it SOPs. Same principle. Redundancy turns chaos into continuity. Feedback as fortune. When focus narrows, feedback accelerates. Track a single metric per ring. Resting heart rate, hours of deep work, daily act of integrity, review nightly. Data is the mirror that keeps ego from fogging over the truth. Bottom line, every minute you spend on the uncontrollable is a minute you steal from mastery. Sharpen the razor daily. Principle 5. Memento mori. Urgency of the finite time is bleeding. Let every drop count. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, say, and think. Marcus Aurelius, Mortality. Salience reboot. Neuroscience shows that brief, vivid reminders of death, mortality salience, spike focus, and prosocial behavior. Stoics wore rings engraved with skulls. You can set a phone wallpaper that simply reads, "This could be the last scroll." Each glance detonates distraction. The Hourglass Audit Print, a yearly calendar with 365 empty boxes. Each night, fill today's box black. The growing field of darkness is a non-negotiable ledger of existence. Projects languishing for weeks. The hourglass mocks them into motion. Negative visualization 2.0. Classic Stoics imagined losing possessions and people to cultivate gratitude. Upgrade it. Visualize the unread email you'll never write, the business you'll never launch, the apology you'll never give if you don't act tomorrow. Let that future grief ignite present courage. Legacy loopbacks. Once a quarter, draft your own eulogy as if delivered by a friend. Compare it to your actual habits. Wherever the stories don't match, insert a corrective ritual within 24 hours. Legacy isn't a future achievement, it's a daily upload. Bottom line, death is the ultimate project manager. It sets the deadline. You set the milestones. Conclusion: forging the inner empire. You now hold 5 keys: relentless action, move first, mood later, wide exploration, deep commitment, taste broadly, drill narrowly. Resistance as compass, fear marks the frontier. The razor of control, sever externals, double down on influence. Memento mori urgency, let finite time light the fuse. Woven together, they form an operating system older than Rome and sharper than any productivity hack trending today. Stoicism doesn't promise serenity on a beach. It promises iron in the soul, the unshakable calm you earn after wrestling chaos to the ground, again and again. So don't just close this video and nod. Pick one principle and deploy it before the next hour dies. Send the apology, start the workout, shut the tab, draft the business plan, whatever hurls you into motion. Because every breath you take is a non-refundable vote for the person you become. 10 years from now, meet your future self without regret in his eyes. The forge is hot. Step in and shape the steel. See you on the anvil.